In the northwest corner, at 1,300 feet above sea level, Red Willow is the highest vineyard in the Yakima Valley AVA. Mike Sauer pioneered grape viticulture on the property in 1973.
The new kid on the farm to find his niche, so I started a few acres of vineyards back in the 1970s. This was really the early stages of at least wine grapes in this area. There's, I think, about 6 wineries and less than 1,000 acres in the state at the time. And gradually we've expanded the vineyards. We had a lot of undeveloped ground out here, hillside ground that was not good for growing other crops. And of course all drip irrigation allowed us to plant vineyards on extremely steep slopes. And we have a long-term generational view of the vineyards and the ground that we farm, so we obviously want to preserve it in the best way that we can, and of course our family and all of us are here too, so we're concerned about sprays and safety also. So we're not organic, but we very much are what you call sustainable agriculture. This year a bigger problem that we're having is bears in the vineyard, of all things. Bears found their way down from the huckleberry fields and decided that they like Merlot better than huckleberries. They're traveling the vineyards a little bit, dining along the way.
Since 1978, Mike Sauer has collaborated with Columbia Winery's Master of Wine, David Lake, to produce many exceptional wines. The pair produced the state's first Syrah from Red Willow grapes in 1988. As a team, they have extensive knowledge of the terroir and have been able to enhance their desired grape characteristics. This implicit knowledge that the winemaker has for the terroir and the grower contributes to the creation of superior wines.
A well-educated, well-spoken Englishman and a farmer out here. We've been a team for a lot of years, and I appreciate the friendship and the relationship.
And it really reflects Mike's growing. I mean, it's somebody who is intimately concerned with the vineyard, who knows the vineyard inside out, and we just try to make something which is a tribute to what he does in the vineyard, because that's at least 75% of the wine, maybe even more than that. I mean, it really is. It's the vineyard that makes the difference.
As the years have gone on, I think we find ourselves trying to adjust and respond growing and winemaking to what the season is giving us too.
It is a vineyard which produces rather Bordeaux-style wines. And it is a warmer vineyard from the point of view of having these steep slopes, which tends to ripen things relatively early. But it isn't in the hottest part of the state. This is sort of in the intermediate area where really I think red wine growing comes into its own. What we try to do is just translate the character of Red Willow into the bottle. I mean, that is what we want to have happen. And the less messing around with that, the better.
It's a great place to host people in the vineyards, and the wine just bridges so many walks of life. You meet a lot of very interesting people.
At the other end of the Yakima Valley lies Kestrel Vineyards, originally planted in 1972 by Mike Wallace. The vineyard is named after the smallest falcon in North America, the kestrel, which is native to the area. This vineyard has been growing grapes in lush soils, most notably Cabernet, Merlot, and Syrah. Teamwork is an important component in the Washington wine industry. Here at Kestrel Vineyards, Mike Bertelbaugh, the general manager, Charles Smasny, the vineyard manager, and Flint Nelson, the winemaker, frequently get together to share ideas and plan for the future.
Some beautiful grapes coming here. Can't wait to turn them into wine.
This vine right here is a great vine to show for balance. I mean, you see the spread out clusters. You know, as you look under this vine, there's only a couple dried clusters under this vine. This is what it naturally produced. There's not much fruit that's been taken off this vine.
And there are a lot of green
They're
clusters
self-regulating at this point. They're just old and gnarly and it's barely getting by, producing the highest quality fruit. as we march forward in our quest for perfection, at some point we're going to realize which clone does the best on which site. We probably haven't found that in our vineyard, but the old vine cab, whatever clone it is probably the best clone for this site.
And that's, I think, goes to say for Washington State, with the quality of wines we're producing, and we aren't up with some of the area.
We haven't had 1,000 years to perfect our art.
Yeah,
we're still winning more awards than any other wine region in the world. It's hard to believe that this can turn into this.
This is what we're looking for, is just the loose clusters, moderate size, and this is actually, you know, this cluster here is pretty well balanced for this block.
Yakima Valley is the first stop for many wine tasters traveling to Washington wine country. The grapes produced are crafted into fruit-forward wines with rich, firm textures and body that can be laid down for many years or be enjoyed soon after bottling. Wines tend to be very consistent in quality with great balance and structure, as the region benefits from a stable climate without the occasional extremes of other areas in the state.